All right, hi. Let's take a look at your video, and I'm going to start by sharing my screen with you and get that out of the way, and we'll get this up here. So let's take a look at it and watch what you guys did.
Alright. Hello, everyone. I just want to first off thank you for letting us be here today. It's a big deal, and we're taking up your time, and I value your time. So, just wanted to thank you. Second of all, I want to congratulate you on making it to your senior year of high school. That in itself is a very big deal, and we want to encourage you to keep moving forward and to just keep moving past your educational career, and writing can help you with that. So, who are we? Why are we here? We are from Monsanto, which is a company just south of here. We are a global agricultural company that is worldwide, employs people all over. And we wanted to come here because we value our own community and want you guys to be as successful as you can. So, some things that writing can help you with. Writing can bring you into different opportunities to be a part of jobs. It can help boost your resume. It can help you write cover letters and different things that will just get you in with employees. Another thing that writing can help you with is within your community, helping out and um, being able to write grants and to physically make an impact on your community, either by making an NGO or using things like the Monsanto Fund to physically apply to that and get funds to help your own groups. So the next thing we want to talk about is college. I know a lot of you see that college isn't even an option. And we want to encourage you that even though it may not seem like a complete step or next thing, is that college can bring you into different opportunities to get you further. To get into college, a lot of scholarships are present, and to get scholarships, you need to write well and do well on those applications. It's free money. The Bayer Fund is a way to do that. We're bought out by Bayer, and they take people from this community, and they have applications that are suited just for you guys to get yourself there. And we also want to encourage you that there are multiple routes in college. You can go the community college route, which is a lot cheaper version and can still lead to open doors. And now I'm going to bring up another one of our vice presidents, Connor, and he's going to go into writing specifics.
Thank you. So I want to talk to you guys about some writing tips that will help you improve your writing. The first thing I want to go over is knowing your audience. You want to be inviting and personal, and a good way to do that is put yourself in their shoes, understand where they're coming from. You want to have an active voice, not a passive voice, and be confident in your writing. And what brings confidence is having solid facts, being clear, concise, and to the point. If you have facts backing up what you're saying with confidence, that's hand in hand. It's just going to come. Lastly, which I think is probably one of the most important things, is reviewing with your peers. When your peers review your writing, a lot of times if you're reviewing it, you know what you're trying to say, and so you might miss, some of the grammar, other errors, things like that someone else will catch for you. So now that we know what to do, here's what not to do. Bland descriptions. You want to find a balance between, being detailed and boring. You don't want to lose the person that you're talking to because it's so boring. And then writing mistakes, run-on sentences, overuse of commas, things like that. And a good way to just get better at that is repetition. The more you do it, the better you'll be at it. And lastly, mistakes happen. You turn in a paper, you don't get a grade you want, or you hand a paper to a peer review and there's marks all over it. That's okay. That's just room for us to grow and get better. And so we want to thank you for your time. Hopefully, now that you know what to do and what not to do, you can apply that to your writing in your day-to-day lives and get those scholarships and job applications and things like that, and get you to where you want to be. Thank you.
All right. So a touch shy of the 4 minutes and 50 seconds bottom line. So we'll knock your grade down a little bit for that, not so much. Let's take a look at this presentation. For the most part, it was really pretty good, right? Let's take a look at the very first part here.
All right. Hello, everyone. I just want to first off thank you for letting us be here today. It's a big deal, and we're taking up your time, and I value your time. So just wanted to thank you. Second of all, I want to congratulate you on making it to your senior year of high school. That in itself is a very big deal, and we want to encourage you to keep moving forward and to just keep moving past your educational career, and writing can help you with that.
So Nathan does a really great introduction here, doesn't he? First of all, he shows appreciation. And with high school kids, I think that's really worthwhile. It gives them a sense that they matter and that you think that they're important to you. So that's a really nice introduction that you've got there. And hopefully it gets the attention of the students. Of course, you never had a chance with me because I played the I really could care less student. And Louise played the more engaged student, the one that was really listening to you and watching what's happening. So let's keep going here because you've got a great start.
So, who are we? Why are we here? We are from Monsanto, which is a company just south of here. We are a global agricultural company that is worldwide, employs people all over. And we wanted to come here because we value our own community and want you guys to be as successful as you can.
Again, Nathan helps the class and his audience engage with him. It's a real sense of connection, and that's really excellent work. That's really, really excellently done.
So, some things that writing can help you.
Your slides here are great, right? They're very straightforward, easy to read. Nice job there too.
Writing can bring you into different opportunities to be a part of jobs. It can help boost your resume. It can help you write cover letters and different things that will just get you in with.
You can see here that Nathan's getting a little bit thrown off by the antics that he's getting from the one student. And let's watch his body language for a bit. He's not looking, he's looking away, and he's not looking at me, but he has an opportunity here to look at Louise. She's into it, she's engaged, and he wants to make contact with her. So whenever you've got an audience or somebody in the audience that's being a real pain, you can always just focus on the other people in the audience that are engaged and use that connection to help you keep moving forward and moving well. For the most part, what we're seeing here, excuse me, too much ginger ale. What we're seeing here with Nathan is a very relaxed style for the most part. He's moving around. There's a real sense that he's thinking about what he's going to say and that he cares, that he wants us as an audience to learn something and to get something out of his talk. Let's get that volume back
Things
up
like
again.
the Monsanto Fund to physically apply to that and get funds to help your own moves. So the next thing we want to talk about is college. I know a lot of you see that college isn't even an option. And we want to encourage you that even though it may not seem like a complete step or next thing, is that college can bring you into different opportunities to get you further. To get into college, a lot.
Now here, Nathan's up against a really serious disruption. And it probably would have been better, Nathan, if you would have engaged with that. And basically what I'm trying to say here is, look, the kid's playing a tune, address it. I mean, he's really off in some other space. So go and address it with the student. Hey, what is that tune? If you don't recognize it, something along the lines of, maybe you can send that to me so that I can listen to it. I'd be kind of interested. Try to create a connection there. You continue to try to walk through it and continue on with the presentation. You end up looking a little bit like a talking head. There's a sense that you're just going to keep talking no matter what's going on in the audience. You always want to react to what's going on with the audience. You always want to know where they are. And in this case, I think you might have been better off to say something positive, something encouraging about the music. And as you saw later in the Q&A, we know exactly why this kid is so into it.
Scholarships are present, and to get scholarships, you need to write well and do well on those applications. It's free money. The Bayer Fund is a way to
See, we've got him rattled, and he's not sure what to do. What Nathan could do is move from here, just catch his breath, over to here. And if he's in this position, it's way easier to focus on Louise, who he knows is interested in the presentation that he's making. This makes it easier for you, Nathan, to deal with what is a really hard situation. Because when you see somebody doing that in your class, you're going, oh, crap. I mean, come on, I've taken the time to try to understand what you need. I've taken the time to try to show you how we can do something really positive for you. And here you are basically going, I don't care. I could really, whatever. And who really needs that? So you want to get yourself around that one way, get over to this side so that you're not directly looking at the kid, you're looking at somebody else.
We're bought out by Bayer, and they take people from this community, and they have applications that are suited just for you guys to get yourself there. And we also want to encourage you that there are multiple routes in college.
So let's jump ahead. We're seeing the same thing. Nathan's a little rattled. We don't need to beat this to death. I want to back this up a little bit here. Give me just a minute. Whoops.
He's going to go into writing specifics.
Thank you. So I want to talk to you guys about some.
So a really good handoff, wasn't it? He let us know exactly who he was. Connor was ready to go. He picked it up. He walked into the space, and Nathan walked out. Really, really great transition here.
Tips that will help you improve your writing. The first thing I want to go over is knowing your audience. You want to be inviting and personal, and a good way to do that is put yourself in their shoes, understand where they're coming from. You want to have an active voice, not a passive voice, and be confident.
Now, you want to be careful here, Connor. The hand in the pocket is very rarely a good idea. You want to get used to not doing that, especially during a presentation. There's some people who talk about body language who suggest that if you have your hand in your pocket, you're trying to hide something. Maybe that's overanalyzing it. But at the same point, it is reserved. Look how much movement you give us with your other hand over here and none here. And that creates a bit of a misbalance in the message. And one thing too, I think we're going to notice, I'm going to keep going here, is
what brings confidence is having solid facts, being clear, concise, and to the point.
Let me
if you have facts backing,
turn that off. You don't seem that excited about the stuff, and it seems automatic, right? And it's almost like you're just throwing this presentation down. And that's something you really want to avoid as much as you can. Now, maybe you're pissed off with that one student who's being a jerk. And that's understandable because, hey, you went to a lot of trouble to try to figure out some stuff. And here you are, somebody could care less what you're talking about and does not feel marvelous. And as a presenter, you need to get past that. Not an easy thing to do. At the same time, something important to learn how to do. Let's get the volume back on again here.
Repetition. The more you do it, the better you'll be at it. And lastly, mistakes happen. You turn in a paper, you don't get a grade you want, or you hand a paper to a peer review and there's marks all over it. That's okay. That's just room for us to grow and get better. And so,
Watch words like peer review. With high school kids, that's not going to make any sense. You want to be using language that works for them. Think back to when you were in high school. Does the term peer review, did that even come up? Did you even understand that? In some schools, certainly. In this school, maybe not so much. So keep your language pitched at your audience. The previous presentation that you did, you were talking to a minister of parliament. Pretty big cheese, a very educated person. He's going to understand more elevated language, if you will. Kids in high school aren't. It's not that they're dumb, it's just that they aren't exposed to it and they don't care to know because they don't see the importance yet. They're high school kids. So keep it simple. And what we're seeing a little bit in this presentation is a bit of a lack of connection with the audience. Keep in mind, these are high school kids. They're kind of wanting to have fun and play. And yeah, you'll get that in college, but it's also different from our previous audience.
we want to thank you for your time. Hopefully, now that you know what to do and what not to do, you can apply that to your writing in your day-to-day lives, and get those scholarships and job applications and things like that, and get you to where you want to be. Thank you. Question? Yes.
Yeah. Is it okay to use a fancy script-like font in business
Fancy
name?
font?
Yeah.
Or what type of writing?
Okay, see, now really be careful here. You interrupted her. Let her finish her whole question. Both you guys jumped on top of it. And that's what Tannen says by one-upping, something that we men tend to do. Let Louise finish her entire question. Let her say everything she wants to do, because if you don't, she's going to feel cut off. And that's going to make her a little uncomfortable. So be careful with this kind of thing. This also applies to guys when they're asking questions. Let them finish the entire question, catch your breath, and then move on to answering it.
Business letters.
You generally want to be as just clear and concise as possible.
Did you see her tone of voice sort of go down a little bit? Let's go over that one again. Watch.
Yeah.
For what type of
Whoops.
For
writing?
business.
Question? Yes.
Yeah. Is it okay to use a fancy script-like font in business
Fancy
name?
font?
Yeah.
For what type of
For
writing?
business letters.
You generally want to be as just clear and concise as possible. Using fancy fonts often bring away from
You
what
can
you're
hear
actually
sort of
writing,
fade
so
away a
we'll
bit
note
there.
with that a little bit.
Oh, yo, I'm gonna keep it real. You know what I mean?
Keep it real.
I'm gonna be a rapper like 2 Chainz, Big Sean, 42 Doug, right? How's any of this shit how's this gonna help me tell my story?
Well, do you like options? Do you like having options?
Yo, my music's my options.
That's the only option you want. Like,
I don't need options more than that.
well,
Okay, careful there, Connor. You're starting to fight with him again. And you really need to avoid doing that. The kid just wants to be a rapper. Let him run with it. Sure, we've got a little more education. We've been to university and we're starting to see that, boy, running with being a rapper might not work so well. It's really a matter of understanding that there's not more to life than that, but it's a high risk run to try to make that happen. Run with it. You guys both got a chuckle out of it and you both felt connected with the kid when he said that. Say something along the lines of, yeah, wouldn't that be such a cool thing to be able to do that? If you know other rappers that you like and that you can relate to, throw them out and say, I really like this guy. And what about that guy? What do you think of the next guy? Give the kid a chance to see that you too get why that music's important. You too love what you hear when you hear that music. And then he'll have a chance to maybe hear you a little better, to give him, because really what you're giving him is sort of bad news. I'm not saying you shouldn't say it, because you're really trying to help the student understand that he's got to be careful. And at the same time, let him get connected with you so that he trusts you a little bit more.
Writing, job resumes, right? You want to be a rapper? That's writing.
See,
So, learning the things to not do and the things to do, that's going to help you with your rapping.
Exactly. And
Oh, man.
that can bring you to different times and
see, you guys went and did it there. You went through the answer and you saw my reaction, which was, oh, just leave me alone. Shut up. What do I need this for again? And you realized that and you backed off. Rapper, you want to be a rapper? That's kind of cool. And now you gave him something to hang on to, something to connect with.
being able to speak through your rapping can help you find different routes to take or meet up with different people and have better connections through your rapping or just through writing in general.
Whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it okay to use emojis when you're writing an email to a professional business person?
I would say no. That's
See, that time you gave her the space, and that's excellent. Just you let her finish the whole thing, and you gave her the ability to express what she wanted to express. And it was a really natural reaction that you gave her back, wasn't it? It was, you're going, oh, these are the kind of questions that these kids are asking us. Well, all right, this is what matters to them.
professional as possible. That's generally not okay, and they want you to come across just very professional. You want to act like you're not in high school still, and it's not like a text message. It's more of an email that you would write to someone that is important. Think of it as you're writing something to the president. You want that to be as polite and educational as possible.
All right, so you can see how in the end you really started to bring in something that the kids could understand. You're not in high school anymore. Things change when you get out of high school. And you're not being heavy-handed about it. You're just going, that's the way it is. And it gives the kids a chance to sort of grab onto something. So let me stop sharing here. For the most part, this presentation was pretty good. The things that you did well is that you really knew your stuff. Where you struggled a little bit was you didn't know what to do with the crappy reaction you got from your audience. And it's important to get used to that. Sometimes people in the audience, and it's not your fault, it's not like you're giving a bad talk necessarily, they disconnect. And as soon as they do, it makes it less comfortable for you, and it makes it harder for you to get the ideas out. And it showed on you guys. Both of you got obviously uncomfortable, and if we watch the body language from both of you, you're starting to show the disconnect. You don't want to take that. Why? Well, for the obvious reason. Here's somebody who's telling you to screw off. Who really wants to be talking with somebody who has that attitude? So you need to find some way to connect. And that's one of the key things when we looked at that chapter on being authentic. How do you connect with your audience? How do you put yourself out there? And it's risky, and it's scary, and it's frightening. And your body responds, and it shows that, and your audience will notice that. So at that point, it's time to back off a little bit and try to find some way to connect with the audience. Of course, every audience will be different if they do that. And maybe most importantly, to remember, in this case, it's not about you. It's the person in the audience. Who knows what's happened to them that day? Who knows why they feel cruddy? Who knows why they feel angry? Who knows why they're not listening to you? It may be something completely different. So remember to flex, and sometimes you need to stand back, take a minute and catch your breath, and let the negatives wash over you and back out the other side. Hang on a minute, I'm going to cough, so I'm going to pause here. So again, you did a pretty good job here. I'm going to have to take a little bit off because your timing on it was a bit weak, but it wasn't horribly weak. But I did say you needed to have it there and you needed to have it right. So what I'm seeing here is an A- presentation. You did a lot of things really well. You struggled with your body language. you were thrown a big curveball again by me. And you need to get used to that with your audience. You need to come up with some way to get comfortable with that. And that's one of the biggest skills that you're going to have to learn, but you're getting there and you will get there. I know you can do it. A little bit more practice, maybe practicing that presentation, having your fellow teammates throw curveballs at you all the time for 5 minutes so you can get used to the feeling that you've got when you're up on the stage, when you're making the presentation, so that you can't be knocked off balance as quickly as unfortunately you did get here. And you are going to get better at this. I know you can. I know you will. You've got an excellent start here and work very well done.